Okay, here we are for another episode of Art Saves Lives. I'm Nigel Bart, studio facilitator of Artbeat Studio. So, Hunter, let me just ask you a few questions. Can you talk about your art a bit?
I focus on natural science, natural materials, natural found objects to create my art. Pretty much all the mediums. I work with food, which is something out of nature. I work with sand and magnetic sand and rock and moss and other things that I've found on the beach. I'm a beachcomber, and so that would probably kind of sum it up.
Does art have a meaningful role in your life, and how so?
Yeah, it's a big part of my life. I get up in the morning and I make stuff up until it's time to go to bed, and that's been my combat and my defense mechanism. It really has saved me.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that art has helped you in your recovery journey, and how so?
Well, it's very empowering. What I find with art is, for myself anyway, once I start creating, whether it's food or paintings or sculpture, once I got a few pieces around me, I start to feel better. Like the magic begins to happen. And when I first got into it, and I'd fill my room with, I was painting with carrot juice on canvas. But anyway, no experience with it. But as soon as I had 6 or 7 paintings on my walls, I was excited to get home, so I could just sit in it. So it was really a reflection of, because that's what's inside me, right? And so if you're happy about that, then you basically got to be happy with what's in you. And I think a lot of mental illness, works the opposite. Makes us feel, the stigma and all of the other sort of negative aspects to it.
Can you comment on how Artbeat Studio has helped you?
A friend of mine remarked about the fact that since I started here doing this, that he's not seen me this happy, and it's someone I've met in the last 10 years, and through volunteering, and really saw my illness, and just all of the rest of it, and that's this was just a phone call the other night. Says, so whatever that is, you just keep doing it. So,
do you think Artbeat is a charity worth donating to?
I think that it's money very well spent. It works. 10% of the population are affected by it. That's a huge amount, and that's only what's reported. Well, when I attended Artbeat back in 2008, my project for the term was writing a cookbook. And I had already named it. I think it was the Bipolar Cookbook, and it changed to Bipolar Soup Book when I realized it was just too big a subject to cover. I prepared food from scratch here, tested the recipes, so the participants here plus the alumni artists and volunteers and visitors were all able to try the food and then critique it.
And that's another wrap of Art Saves Lives.